Time to talk some football. Wait. We lost. Ah, well, boy, disappointing. I think I almost threw up when he kicked that field goal at the end. Castelli picked a field goal at the end to win the game. Say I was disappointed. Be an understatement. I would have loved to beat Winnipeg, but I can't complain. They did exactly what I wanted them to do. I wanted them to play those second stringers and third stringers even, and I said in my pregame, I don't know, maybe that video didn't come out, I screwed it up somehow, but the video stalled. But anyway, I said that I wanted Cone to play, get some snaps, and Mace, kudos to him. He stuck to his game plan, that's for sure, because I don't think it mattered what the score was. He was gonna stick with who he was gonna play at what time. Even on defense in the fourth quarter, he started playing a lot of the backups to the backups, and surprised me all to hell. They played pretty damn well. You know, they held Winnipeg off to touchdowns, you know, even late in the game, playing a lot of backups. Like, I was glad they gave Thurman some time off. That Miller, he didn't look too bad, boy. He didn't look too bad. And another guy that stood out, got more playing time, was that Sod, our draft pick this year. I'll tell you, he looked pretty damn good. He made some damn nice plays. But I think we would have won this game if Mayer would have stayed in there, you know, for the fourth quarter. But like I said, I can't complain. That's what I wanted to see Cone. And like Mayer, he didn't look good in the first and second quarter at all. Both him and Cone, you know, like they were telegraphing where they were going, you know, and the defense had all such a time to break in on them and break up the play. But in the third quarter, Mayer really started coming on big time, and I think it was 12 for 12 or for 13, and he was getting a lot of balls to Picton, and Picton made a couple of hell of a nice catches. But you know, like the first two quarters, nothing, you know, terrible. Cone was the same way. He telegraphs, you know, and if you're going to telegraph where it's going, you have to hit that receiver right on the break, and not later, because then the defense has time to bust down and break the play up, if not intercept, or a couple were lucky didn't intercept it. You know, but I think we'd have won it if Mayer would have stayed in there. Of course, we probably would have won it if Lothar would have made a 49-yard field goal. He made the other ones. I sure the hell hope that doesn't put him in a funk again, but we'd have been up on the scoreboard if he'd have made that one, and that would have been a win. But I just hope he continued. His average has gone way up, so with this new holder. One of the big pluses in the game was that our punter, that Mirko, I'll tell you, very decent punts. I'll tell you, he kicked within the 5-yard line twice. His next one wasn't the greatest, but it still was unreturnable. And that, you know, like kicking game, like Lawler's coming around, hoping that one doesn't bite him in the ass, that 49-yarder, because that Vital, he just changed field positions. You know, like he ran the damn ball back just as far as where we punted, where we kicked it off, right back to center field, and the field position was swapped big time. But as far as our quarterbacks, backups, you know, it's gonna be a hard time. I don't care who you put in there if you got no running game. Like, our quarterbacks got more yardage scrambling than Anderson got in yardage, running yards, you know. And that play in the third quarter, we're down there fairly deep and we're 2nd and 1, and they hand the ball off 4 yards behind the line of scrimmage and we lose 2 yards. Like, man, it's like pounding sand for stupidity, I'll tell you. Unreal. Jesus, we haven't run the ball at all. Why not just quarterback sneak and get the first down there and give us another set of downs? But hand the ball back, and he's at least 4 yards deep when he takes the ball, and absolutely nothing. And we have to try to kick that field goal. You know, that was a killer. That was a killer. That was a game changer right there. When you're without a running game, quarterbacks are sunk. I don't care who's in there. The best quarterback in the world, even Bo, they had to get it established. Mitchell there, Hamilton had to establish a running game. Otherwise, they were starting to rip his head off every play. You know, without a running game, the defense's playbook is so wide open. You know, like, quarterbacks don't know if you're coming or going. Like a couple times, poor Cohen, you could see they're coming with everybody. And if they do come with everybody, he's got to get rid of the ball right now. You got to recognize all this stuff. And it's hard on them, though. They might show and then drop back. The running game just killed us for those new quarterbacks, or for Mayer. But Mayer paired, like I said, I'm not a big Mayer fan, but in the third quarter, I was kind of shocked, like everybody else. Boy, I can't believe it. They're putting Cone in, but I can't complain. As I said, that's exactly what I asked for. It don't matter. Like Winnipeg, they're absolutely, they won't go nowhere, even if they're coming out of the east there. I don't think they can beat either Hamilton or Montreal. And a true Winnipeg fan will say the same thing. Like I had that short yesterday, rack up Zach. That's really all you need to do to take on the Bombers. Knock him down a couple times, rattle him, and you know, every time he's like Cinderella. He falls down and they're Humpty Dumpty and lays there and looks back at the ref, hoping to get a roughing the passer call. You know, like, and none of them were even close. And he gets up like, oh, stretching. Oh, my shoulder's gone. One time he got him in the chest, and like, sure, he's taking a beating, but he can't. And when he does, he gets down. His arm strength goes to nothing. You know, all they got is Brady Oliveira, period. You know, because Zach's not going to be able to get it to anybody, as far as I'm concerned. I think if you're a Bomber fan, you know that anyway. I'm not the only one that can see that. You know, they'll have a hard time. You know, they'd have to beat both Montreal and Hamilton. Can't see it. You know, you don't have to worry about them coming back. That'd be a miracle if they did. Well, like I said, really happy with the defense. Even in the fourth quarter, when they were playing those new guys, whole new set of guys. Dulkey was in there, and that Miller, like I said, Miller, man, he was playing for Thurman. Oh, he played some pretty good ball. But we could have won that game. That's the laugh of it all. You know, with the score it was. But like I said, Mace wasn't playing the scoreboard. Otherwise, he'd have kept Mayer in there, as he was finally getting on a roll. He had some rhythm with the receivers, and everything was going good. Cone, we just went backwards again once he came in. Defense would have to stand up on their head, and Zach did manage, after he'd been blasted a couple times, just like I said, rack Zach up, he'll throw interceptions. He threw one there, no arm strength. That's a bit of the problem with Cone too. didn't seem to have much zip or get rid of the ball quick. I don't know if he's the future star of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I don't know. I don't think so, but he can't go by that. Like next game, I hope against BC they put Harris in to start the game, and then in the second, I don't know, about a quarter or a half maybe, and then put Mayer in there. I don't know if I'd get the cone, but I'd give Mayer enough shot at it to finish the game, no matter what the score is. Hopefully, I don't know who they'll play, what kind of squad they'll put in there for the BC game. I'd sure like to see Stevens back. Man, we have to have a guaranteed short yardage guy in there, and he was guaranteed. We get first down 99% of the time with him in there. I don't know what's wrong with him. Sure been out a long time for being the backup there, just doing backup duty. I don't know what happened to him. Anybody know, let me know. My other thing was get through the game. I was going to do a happy dance if we got through the game with no injuries, and lo and behold, very first play from scrimmage, Robustelli bums out his knee. Yeah, that one there, the defense would have just turned around, they would have had an interception. Mayer underthrew him by a mile, but that's the same old trick Winnipeg uses all the time with Dembski. Underthrows it and he just stops and lets the defender run into him for a pass interference. I've said that over and over, that more receivers should do that. They know they're going to get the call every time. That's about it for this one here. Like I said, we could have won that one, folks. That's why I was disappointed, but they did exactly what I would have wanted them to do with that rotation of players. Let's try to stay healthy, and too bad for Robustelli. Otherwise I'd have been happy dancing. Like I said, nobody got really dinged up that I know of. Carney, I don't, he seemed for a while there, I don't know, but I guess we'll find out come practice next week. I don't think we're gonna have a hard time against BC. They're coming on strong. Not only Rourke, but their defense. They're starting to get a lot of takeaways. I think Cody coughed up 3 interceptions. You know, they started off well, but no, their defense is coming around too. And you know me, defenses win championships. Rourke might be good, but if the defense can hold them back, they'll be a hard out in the playoffs. I'm just hoping that, like I said, the Riders are holding back their plays and hiding what they can till they get to that, play that Western final. You never know, I guess. Ride, let's go this way. This way, bud. Time will tell. That's going to be quite the game, no matter who we play in the Western final. I'm predicting BC myself, unless Adam stands on his head for Calgary. But I think the key to stopping BC is don't let Rourke pass the line of scrimmage somehow. And I don't know, that's a pretty difficult ask for any defensive front seven. They're responsible for keeping them in there tight. But I guess that's a long enough video. I wish the Riders would have won and kept the Bombers' hopes down and not make the playoffs. Would have made me laugh. But like I said, I'm not too worried about them coming in and taking us out in the Grey Cup. I'd bet a lot that they're not even going to make it to out of the East. Yeah, you never know. It's football. And once you got that ticket, I said, it's all you want. We just need one more ticket. Whoa, what? Train just slammed the brakes on over there. But once you have that ticket to the show, You never know, anything can happen after that. Anyway, till next time, please comment down below and what do you think of the game. What did they do the right thing by pulling Mare? I don't know. Like I said, they did exactly what I wanted them to do. So anyway, comment down below, hit the like, hit the subscribe, man. Really like getting more subscribers. Everybody knows that. Anyway, till next time, go Riders go, and we'll talk to you later. Take care, y'all.